So hi everybody, Dallas PPA. I'm here today at Imaging USA. You can kind of see a little of us in the background from Nashville. And I'm with Judy Reinford. She's going to be our speaker this month. And she is amazing. You're going to absolutely love her work. But I'm here to kind of find out for you guys her background and what she's going to offer us for both the Tuesday night meeting and also the all-day workshop that she's presenting on Wednesdays. So you guys can learn about her, get excited, and sign up for her workshop. Judy has been in photography for a very long time. She's got a background in fine art. She's achieved many goals already in an incredible period of time. I met Judy when we were both walking for our masters and was somewhat upstaged because I realized she had actually got your MA and your master's at the same time, which was absolutely amazing. In like 2 years. It was crazy. But Judy, tell us a little about the awards and certifications that you've achieved and more background.
So basically I got my CPP first. When I first joined PPA, I thought, oh, I don't need that. I have a BFA. But then I realized that there were a lot of people getting the CPP that didn't have actual degrees, and because it was a certification, it looked important. And I thought, well, maybe I should get that. And actually, I was amazed at how hard it was. It was probably one of the hardest things to achieve, and I was really thankful to get it, and I'm never going to let it lapse. I got Master Artist, Master Photographer the same year, and then last year I got my Craftsman degree. This year I'm getting Image Excellence and the ASP Bronze Medallion. In October I won the Envision Photo Festival in Pennsylvania, which is a national juried show. And then I just found out that in February in the PSA magazine, which is Photographic Society of America, I won the projected image category with one of my painted animals. And I like to compete. It's a lot of fun. And when I first started painting, my husband said, make it profitable. Don't just do print competition. So I found ways to make it profitable. So if you come to the evening IPS workshop, I'm going to talk about how to make some of this stuff profitable, and also how to make what you're already doing more profitable than you may realize it could be.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know that's a weak point for most of us artists, is actually making all the work that we do profitable, especially fine art and painting. So Judy does a lot of different types of photography in her business. I know most of us are familiar with her work because of her competition or painted animals, which are some of my favorites. I literally cried when some of her images come up for judging because they have so much, not just the expertise that you do in your painting, but the emotion. I'm choking up just talking about it. The emotion that your animals exude. She frequently has her animals either with another animal with emotion or with an animal and a child in your composite work that is just so amazing. And as we all know, emotion is such a huge part of what makes an image so memorable and so impactful. So that's what's some of my favorite things about what you do.
Thanks.
But she does all kinds of work. She's going to be presenting for us her in-person sales on Tuesday night, and then she's going to, during her workshop, cover both creating fine art images, including landscapes that you do such a gorgeous job with, and then also painted animals in the afternoon. And that's going to be just so amazing for everybody that loves to do that sort of work. We have a lot of wildlife people in our group as well, and I know they're going to particularly enjoy that.
When I cover the landscape portion of it, I'm going to specifically also talk about how to get those magical seascapes that everybody loves. It took me a lot of trial and error. I didn't have anybody to mentor with, so I'm going to share with you how I get to the point of these seascapes that have this beautiful movement in the water. And it's something that if you're going on vacation and you want to have a memorable piece of art from your trip, hopefully you'll go away with some skills that you'll be able to do that.
You do a lot of other portraiture. You do your fairy tale portraiture, which we probably know more of because of your competition work, but she also does gorgeous newborn and maternity, pets and horses. You have 4 Pomeranians. Six Pomeranians. Oh my God, 6 of them now.
This is one of them.
That's right. You have that one high key one with them all lined up. That's so gorgeous. One of my personal favorites is your "We Will Miss You" with the baby giraffe getting taken away on a gorgeous locomotive, and the mother and sibling are standing at the train station. But she also does family portraiture, seniors, like most of us that do portraiture plus our other work. So just amazing. That's awesome. So Friday night, you're going to be doing in-person sales. So Tuesday night, sorry. And that's February 11th, for those of you who haven't signed up yet. I think that's a struggle for me personally.
So there's a couple things I've learned over the years from different mentors and seminars and posts on Facebook even, that you can make one little change and double some of your sales and increase your income by 20%. And it not necessarily is going to cost you more time, but it's going to give you a better avenue for clients to understand how to use the artwork you're creating.
So how do you go about, and you can just give us a rough idea, when you do your in-person sales, I'm sure you'll share that with us on Tuesday night, but do you start off with people making appointments with you initially, or do you start with a phone call, or how do you actually start initiating your in-person sales?
The most important part is the communication with the client from the beginning, creating that experience for them so that they realize that they're getting more than just a photo session where, we all know that there's a photographer in every corner that will meet you at the park, take some photos and send them to you on a CD or jump drive, and going that complete opposite direction and offering that experience that the client realizes they're getting more than just some photos of their family, they're getting this memorable experience with their family, makes all the difference.
That's awesome. We'll look forward to that. How long have you been doing in-person sales now?
So I'm kind of an oddball. I always did in-person sales.
Really?
Yeah, I did in-person sales from the beginning because I had taken a break from commercial photography, and for a bunch of years I was making high-end figure skating costumes for skaters. And so that process was such that the client, the mother, and the child had to come to my sewing studio to meet with me about the costume and talk about and discuss the music and the style. And so when I stopped making costumes and I started doing photos, I was doing in-person sales and I didn't even know it had a name. Like when somebody said to me, "Oh, do you do IPS?" I'm like, "What is that?" And they said, "In-person sales." And I'm like, "Oh, is that when the client meets with you to look at the images?" And they said, "Yes." I said, "Oh yeah, I've always done that." So I didn't even know it had a name.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So on Wednesday, following the Tuesday night meeting on the 12th, she's going to be doing an all-day workshop at the Slate, so you all know where it is already. And in the morning, she's going to be going over to creating fine art images. Do you want them to bring any images with them to work on, or is this more presentation at that point? Or will they need their computers for that part?
It might be kind of fun if people have taken some really cool trips that you guys gather up maybe 10 images from different locations around the world. It'd be nice to have a couple seascapes, but maybe something with, an epic location in Tuscany, Greece, Paris, just to show things that will make the images better, especially if you're in a situation where you had to shoot on a bad time of day. A lot of us go on vacation, we don't want to get up at 5 a.m. So yeah, that might be kind of a fun idea.
Have them bring some images in.
Well, if I could get them ahead of time, and it would it'd be better.
Show us some.
It would be better. Yeah, don't give her JPEGs. Give her like raw files. It would be really helpful if you guys are willing to let me mess with your raw files, like live in front of everybody. And if you give me 10 to choose from, I'll probably pick out 5, and I'll probably bring along a seascape of my own to show you.
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be fun.
That would be really fun.
Yeah.
That'd be exciting.
Okay.
That would be really fun. I'll have to go through my files now.
Oh yeah, any drafts from Africa, bonus points.
Oh, I have lots of That's great. All right, so, and then we'll have our typical lunch break, and then when we come back, she's going to focus on painted animals, and she is going to do a little video ahead of time for us that we'll post also, so that you can set up your computer have it ready so that you can jump into working on your images with Judy right away. And that'll really save a lot of time and make it more fun for everybody.
It's really important too that your version of Photoshop is at least 2018 or newer.
Oh, good.
And if you don't own DxO Nik software prior to the class, like a day or two before, download the free trial. We will be using Nik. And if you're coming on a laptop, please bring either a tablet or a mouse, because some of these things are very difficult to do on a trackpad, right? She took my class yesterday, so.
Definitely bring your, absolutely, it's great. How, when you're doing your painted animals, Judy's kind of unusual, especially for her competition images, because for MA, she actually, almost all the time, she shoots the animal herself. She doesn't download an animal or take it off of a commercial site, which is one of my favorite things about what you do too, because you're personally capturing everything that's in your image. But how do you plan, and I look forward to you sharing this too, how you plan ahead for your image? Do you know that how you're gonna express the emotion in your image? Have you picked your images, things like that? Would love to know about.
Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in understanding shooting animals at a zoo, which is primarily what I do, there are definitely some trade secrets I can share with you to make that a little bit more successful. Some of them are obvious, like you don't want to go to the zoo at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when it's 100 degrees outside, because all the animals will be sleeping. Right. I went to the Nashville Zoo the other day and it was very cold out, so a lot of the animals were inside. But the ones that were out that are like not affected by the cold were actually quite active. I also tend to go on very cloudy days when you might think it's going to rain any minute, but the lighting is beautiful.
Very nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Soft light. So you use primarily Photoshop and the software things that you've described for your editing. Is there anything else that they need to bring?
I mean, I do use Topaz from time to time. You don't need it for the seminar. I'm a huge advocate of Nik, and then I paint in Photoshop. I did Corel painting for 2 years and I just wasn't a fan. And I saw a seminar with a couple different people that had gravitated over to the tools in Photoshop, and I thought, well, I'm going to give that a try because I'm already good in Photoshop, and it was so much easier than Corel.
I think so too.
So much easier, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
So for a competition image, how many hours do you spend
I'm
on some of your images?
I'm almost afraid to admit this right now.
That's okay, because I'm embarrassed too.
Yeah, so I didn't keep track this past year, but let's just say this. I had already spent over 100 hours by the time I went to districts, and then after districts I had a 91, a 92, a 92, and a 93. There might have been a 94, I don't remember, and then I had a 95. So the 95 was my flamingo image that's in the current issue of PPA magazine, and I decided not to break the seal because it was an auto loan, and honestly I didn't think that image was going to go any higher anyway. But the other 3 images over 91, I broke the seals on, and people thought I was insane, but I did. And I ended up with a 100 for my orangutans that a lot of people have seen. And then I got a 95 on my giraffes, which it's actually siblings. It's a baby Bo from Philadelphia with his sister Abby. And then the image we're going to be painting, which was my emu, that was a 91. I broke the seal. I spent another 40 hours on it, and it went to a 90. It went down a point.
Oh, no. Oh, my God.
But it looks better, so it doesn't matter.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
At the end of the day, that's all that matters.
It's so nice to be the kindred spirit. I don't think I've ever spent that many hours, but I think I need to work harder.
Crazy.
That's awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much for taking this time out of your schedule. I know she's been teaching workshops while she's here, and attend so many things that you have to attend between ASP and other things. So thanks for taking the time. And
I can't wait to meet everybody.
I know. Well, we're all so excited. And for those of you that haven't already met Judy, you're going to love her. You're going to love her images. Google her. We'll have links on our website for you, and you're just going to love her images. So sign up.
Oh, do you have the bag?
Because
they're getting them.
I do. Yeah.
Oh, so you're going to get a swag bag at my seminar if you come to my seminar in Dallas. So she already got one because she was in my class
so
yesterday.
Cute.
That's
That is so adorable.
That's the one side of the bag, but the other side is my orangutans.
Which is my personal
if you
favorite.
like this image, you're gonna
Oh,
and I
my God.
hand signed each bag, which is kind of fun.